Welcome into the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. I'm Travis Durkison alongside my co-host Ed Nizer. What's going on, Ed?
No, not much. We got plenty to talk about here today. We got a lot of NFL news. Bill Parcells saying he's okay. He might coach the New Orleans Saints. He doesn't want to be a hypocrite.
Not feeling that, but hey, I can't tell an old man what to do.
No, he's already stubborn and set in his ways at the age of 70, so 71.
He's old. That is old to coach football.
Yeah, it is. It's a really stressful business, especially at the NFL level. You're always in the hearts of the media, the eyes of the media. Everything you say, every move you make is watched.
No kidding. But we got a whole lot to talk about other than Parcells. We got some NCAA Tourney Talk Final Fours this weekend. 2 games tomorrow, and then the championship game is on Monday.
I'm excited about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good basketball. Not a lot of Cinderellas in it this year. Really none in the Final Four.
No, I think the one team people didn't think was going to make it was Louisville.
Strangely enough, because they won the Big East.
Right.
So there's going to be some really good games this weekend. We'll get into that, a little more NFL free agency talk going on, Tebow talk. We can talk about Tebow for hours and hours and hours just by himself.
Absolutely. Maybe 41 minutes, especially.
41 minutes?
Think about it.
I got
We'll get to it.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Voices of Eden Gospel Choir of UNC Charlotte, who present the 3rd annual One Accord Gospel Explosion Sunday, April 1st at 5 p.m. in the 3rd floor of the Student Union. Admission is free. For more information, email voicesofeden@hotmail.com or check out facebook.com/voicesofeden. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get into it, my man. We're going to start with the NFL talk. We're going to get into Parcells. What's your take on the old man saying he wants to come back? Not necessarily wants to come back, but feels like he probably should.
You know what? He is of the age where he should be thinking about playing, his golf swing, not thinking about coaching again. It's something, like I say, about players who want to come back after retiring after a few years. Randy Moss, we're looking at you.
Right.
They're afraid to hang up the cleats, and in his case, he's afraid to hang up the headset because football's been such a part of his life. I remember when he was the coach of the New England Patriots back in the day. Took him to the Super Bowl in my lifetime, 97 when they played Green Bay.
Right.
And he's a good coach, but I think he can still be able to still manage a team. He's still got that personality that everybody likes and adores, but he's too old. I mean, he's not.
It's a really big favor to ask of somebody.
It is. It really is.
And he is old, and it's just gonna. My big deal with him is that's gonna set him back another 5 years when it comes to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he was 55, it wouldn't bother me because he's gonna have plenty of time left to see that. But when you're 71, another tacking on another 5 years, I think you would want to see yourself going to the Hall of Fame.
And what's the average age of people living up to now? Is it like 78 or something like that? 80 years old?
Yeah, who the hell knows?
But anyways, when he gets up for that Hall of Fame nomination, yeah, you kind of want him to be there to see it. You never know what's going to happen. The world works in mysterious ways. You never know when the last breath is going to be taken. But I don't think he should be coaching still. I think he should just relax. The analyst job is not too bad. He can kind of just sit back and talk a little bit about football. That's fine. Old men do that at the coffee shop every morning on Fridays about high school football. He can still do that. But I don't think he needs to take on the stress of coaching.
Yeah, there's no need for him to be thrown into a circus that he's going to be thrown into with the Saints. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with player suspensions.
No, you don't.
Those have not even been handed down yet. You could lose some of your best players the entire year, more than likely.
Yeah, and having to deal with that, try to, of course, you said the media circus coming because of all these bounties. Yeah, they're all going to be asking Bill Parcells about stuff that he really was not a part of. They're like, what's your take on all this? And then he's going to be hounded with all that pressure. And
they'll be like, hey, man, I wasn't here.
He goes, I was on my couch.
Come on now.
Yeah, but I don't want him to do it. But he does seem to feel like he has to.
Yeah, he does. He says he feels an obligation, just like, the older coaches of his time,
right.
the Tom Landrys and all would do the same thing for him. And I mean, we don't know that, but I just think it's such a big favor for him to be doing. I don't think he shouldn't do it because he feels obligated that he should do it.
He should do it because he feels like he wants
he's
to.
Good, like it's good for the team.
Yeah, is it? And the question is, what are they going to pay a guy like Bill Parcells too?
True. I mean, you're going to have to give Bill Parcells a lot of money to come back and coach football at 71 years old.
And I think that Bill needs to step back and just say, you know what? Is this really what I want to do? It's not that he should feel obligated to do it. It's if he really wants to. If his family, he should talk to his family about it too. That's always something big. I'm sure his family does not want him to do it.
No, there's no way they should either. It's just, it's a lot of stress on. It would be a lot of stress on me and you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much less a 71-year-old man. that's something that I don't think your mind and your body can handle when you're of that age, whether you're helping out a friend or not, which I understand why he wants to do a favor, for Sean Payton, and he feels like as his mentor, he should be there and be able to help him out. But it's just, it's a little too late for that. Like I said, if this was 10 years ago or even 5, it's just, I don't know. You're pushing it a little too old, buddy.
Yeah. Do you think he does it or not?
I think if I was to put money on it, I'm going to say he does it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope he doesn't. I really hope he does not.
I just want the man to retire. He's done a lot. He's done a lot for the game. He's been a big. He saw him with Miami. He did okay over there. He did okay in New England. He's been all over the place. I think he was at the Giants too, if I remember right. One time.
Giants. He won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl with the Giants. That's right. And he's just, I don't know. He's done so much for the league. What more can you do? I know you're trying to help out your buddy, and I'd help out Travis if he needed help or anything, or any of my friends. But when you're that age, there's a time when you gotta say, "I'm sorry, but I can't do it. Not at my age." His health.
Right.
His health. I mean, if I remember right, he had some health problems the last couple of years. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I'm speculating. I can't remember exactly, but.
I mean, yeah, you're bound to have health problems when you're that old. I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, he did have some kind of health problem
yeah,
came up.
Is understandably so.
Yeah.
I don't want to be thrown into such a frenzy. It's not a rebuilding job that he's being thrown into. It's not like a team that's been down in the dumps and just needs somebody to bring a competitive fire to them. It's a team with a lot of scandal surrounding it. It's not a situation that you should come into.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's not like he's going into, I'm going to switch the gears and go back to the MLB with Buck Showalter going to Baltimore. That team was in shambles. They were not doing anything. They were crap until he came there, and they started winning towards the end of the season when he brought him in mid-season.
Right.
It's not like he's coming into a team that just kind of needs a face, needs somebody.
He's coming into a team that only needs him for a year.
Exactly. It's just like,
there's really no need
Bill.
for that.
Yeah,
it's just,
don't do it.
I would not. There's no chance to build on your legacy when you're at this point in your career, especially when it's just 1 year. Now, if he came back and the Saints did really well and they won another Super Bowl, then that would be incredible. But then it's just they're just going to have to let him walk away at the end of the year, and that's, I don't know. I think that'd be bad for Sean Payton.
It would look terrible on Sean Payton. What if that happened? What if he does take the job and then they do go to the Super Bowl and they do win it? And then what's to say for Sean Payton? Bill Parcells didn't have any scandals that
maybe
really.
Sean Payton isn't that good of a coach.
Yeah. There you go.
I think it'd probably be more for Drew Brees' legacy than Peyton or Parcells. It's not a good situation. I hope he doesn't do it. Poor old man.
It sucks. It really does suck that Sean kind of threw him into the fire and said, "Here you go, Coach. Can you help me out one last time?" It's just. It's almost like a young guy, young man, young woman coming to their grandparents or their parents looking for money because they're in the kind of a rut. Sean Payton's in a rut right now, and he needs to go back to his mentor and ask him for help. And Bill's just like,
Bill, if I was Bill, I'd give you $20, Sean. If you need $20, I'll give you $20.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not going to give you 8 months out of the year to coach a football team that I have no idea what it's going to look like in a couple months.
Yeah, and does he rework the offense? Does he just use Sean Payton's playbook? What happens? That's a question that needs to be asked.
Yeah, it's just, and he does a complete different defense.
Yep.
It's not.
It's not conducive for Bill.
No, it's one of those things where I don't think it's going to end well. So
I don't like it.
Yeah, poor fella. We're gonna move on from Bill here. Another situation that I'm not terribly fond of. The Tebow.
Oh, good.
The Tebow.
The
T-Bone in New York. He had his press conference earlier this week, and like I told so many people, when I watched the press conference, before I watched it, I've been an avid, Tebow hater. I'll be honest. I didn't necessarily hate Tebow. I hated the frenzy that surrounded him, and I hated him for getting so much attention. It was too much. It's not. None of it was his fault.
No, it isn't.
None of it's his fault. It was all ESPN just cramming it down your throat. Do you want to hear about Tebow? No, I don't care. Here's more Tebow. It's just one of those things, and it's
You said you've had enough? Oh, no, you haven't. Skip Bayless says differently.
So it's just one of those things where it just drove me up the wall.
Yep.
But then the day of his press conference, he was getting so much flack for having a press conference. He planned it. Hey, Mickey Loomis. Not Mickey Loomis, that's Saints. Or Mike Tannenbaum.
Mike Tannenbaum, yeah.
He's like,
the Christmas tree.
Right. Can I have a press conference, Mike? Can I? No, he wasn't doing that. He went to New York. They asked him. They knew it was going to be a frenzy.
Yeah.
You need to do a press conference. So he does the press conference, and then he's getting all this hell for doing the press conference.
He's like, well, he says, "Wow, great, thanks guys for being here. I'm really excited to be a Jet."
Yeah.
I'm like, he's excited. I mean, what? Why not? I mean, why not?
So I'm okay with him doing this press conference because I know this wasn't his idea, but Twitter was just blowing up. It was like a press conference for a backup quarterback. When does this ever happen? Just over and over and over.
He's not your typical backup quarterback.
No, he's not a backup quarterback. He's an icon. He's a sports figure.
I'm not going to call him a backup quarterback. I'm going to call him a special package quarterback because that's what the Jets are going to.
Yeah.
He's not going to sit on the sidelines and hold the clipboard all the time.
He's a serious figure in the National Football League. So there's going to be a press conference for this guy, and I'm completely okay with that because, my big thing was, why are they having this press conference for a backup quarterback? I'm like, they did the same thing for Michael Vick.
Right.
They didn't do it because they signed a backup quarterback. They did it because it was Michael Vick.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a story, and this was a story.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm looking at this story posted on the Miami Herald talking about. I think it's kind of funny the Miami Herald's publishing this, but anyways, because he didn't go to the Dolphins.
Well, I mean, it's Tebow Town.
It's Tebow Town, yeah. But I mean, it says the Papa quarterback writes Thursday night that he's excited to be with his new team. And thanks Broncos fans for their support and an interesting couple of weeks. And he said 44 times that he's excited to be a New York Jet in that press conference.
Well, I think it's safe to say he's excited.
Really? I don't think he's that excited. I think he's look at the face, man. Look at the facial expression. Look at the facial expression.
What the hell are you doing?
That was my Dickie V. But anyways.
Okay. But I mean, it's just after watching that and seeing just
how genuine he was.
He was so genuine, and just the crap he just kept getting on Twitter throughout the course of his press conference.
Yeah.
I'm like, leave the man alone. I've never seen anybody get so much criticism for doing absolutely everything he's asked to do.
Exactly. People get flack for not doing their job right. He's doing his job right and above and beyond because I think a lot of people just kind of say, well, I wish I could do my job the way he's doing. He's carrying himself with composure. He understands the NFL is a business. And he's embracing this new city. And the one thing that I like about him, and this is kind of a small note, he wore a tie that was New York Jet green, which is kind of cool. That kind of just, to me, is kind of symbolism. I can't say the word symbolism, showing that he is excited. I mean, without even him talking, you can tell he's excited because he's already wearing team colors.
I love the press conference. I watched the whole thing, and
I watched it twice.
You watched it twice?
Yeah, well, I wanted to count and see
shirtless.
Absolutely. hairy man, like animal.
But he just is getting so much hell, and I was like, you know what? I hope this guy succeeds now.
Me too.
I'm like, where's that bandwagon? Because I got my jumping shoes on.
That's right.
I was just.
If there's no seats, I'll stand.
Yeah, really. And it's just, if he gets this, I hope he gets an opportunity as some. I don't wish, poor play upon Mark Sanchez.
No.
But if it is to happen and Tebow comes in, I hope he does well. I hope he just shoves it in the face of people that are just Tebow shouldn't be here.
He's proven that he can win in the playoff situations. I mean, look what he did in Denver. The team wasn't expected to make the playoffs, and it did. And it won.
I mean, yeah, definitely. So I think he's capable of doing all these things.
Yeah.
So I don't like him as a quarterback. I don't like the way he plays the game.
It's because it goes against the grain of what everybody thinks.
Yeah, and it's really ugly to watch.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to watch football like that. Nothing against him.
No.
It's just that's what he is as a player, and that's what he's asked to do. So I hope he does well.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it. Just because watching that, he
gets too much flack from everybody.
If he didn't do this press conference, he'd be getting hell for not doing the press conference.
Yeah, he'd be like, why is Tim Tebow not doing a press conference? Is he too good for the New York media?
Yeah, is he afraid of the New York media? He's not going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, the Post would come out with some wacky headline saying something about that. Yeah, exactly. You don't, I don't know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
He really, honestly, is not doing anything wrong, but to some people, everything he does is wrong.
Yep.
And
you're going to have your bashers no matter what you do.
If we watch it, he made fun of himself at times.
Yeah.
It's just everything he said. Well, you were never like, oh man, that's a horrible answer.
No, it didn't seem rehearsed. Like every time Tim Tebow talks, people talk about his calm demeanor in front of the microphone, in front of the camera. Well, that's just how he is. He's a very calm, collected guy. he's comfortable within his own skin, and he doesn't care what other people think of him.
No, it's great. And they even brought up I don't know which reporter it was. He's just like, can you talk a little bit about your faith and what you do in the locker room with your faith? He's like, listen, he goes, this isn't a press conference to talk about, my faith in Jesus. This is a press conference for me to talk about being a New York Jet. And it's just like, you know what? You're right, Timmy.
Yeah, he did not let that reporter try to.
No, he didn't try and make it a circus.
No, I mean, that's great, and that's great. I mean, some players would get on that pedestal if they were in the same situation as Tim Tebow and start talking about going off on a tangent and making it like some kind of painting bad light on the team for taking him. Saying something like, "Well, that's my faith, and it's none of your business." So like someone would say something kind of rude or whatever.
Right.
Some players do that, but Tim Tebow just handled it in stride, and he kept on rolling. That's how he is.
No, and there's so much of a ripple effect with everything he's doing because now Nike is pissed off at Reebok. I don't know if you've read that or seen that anywhere because because Nike's about to take over for jersey sales.
Jersey labels, yeah.
But Reebok still does now. So Reebok is spitting out as many Tebow jerseys as it can before the time comes, and Nike is like, what the hell, man?
This is my turf.
What the hell, man? They were pumped. Yeah. They were pumped about it, but I'm not going to get a Tebow jersy.
I'm not either.
No, I mean,
I'm not either because they're the New York Jets, and you know how I stand on that issue.
Yeah. But I hope he does well. There's nothing.
I do too.
I can't believe I had such a dramatic transformation after a press conference. Just feeling bad for.
Did Tim Tebow have a revelation with you? Did he?
He did.
He did.
His press conference it brought me closer to Tim.
It did. Me too. I kind of just felt like he just drew me in with those words and his cool, calm, collected. He's cool as a cucumber. He's like, hey, like me.
I'm like, all right.
He's like, well, I'm really excited to be a New York Jet, and it's a pleasure to be here in New York, and thanks, guys, for coming. Like at the beginning of the press conference.
It was just like, oh, man.
Tim,
thanks for greeting me.
Give me a bro hug, Tim. Give me a bro hug.
And he talked a lot about him and Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we have a great relationship. We can't wait to work together. And Mark's in at home like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, Mark's. Then they asked him, "Have you had a chance to talk to your new teammates?" Well, I've talked to a few of them. He's talking about Mark. And
since when did he go back to being 12 years old? He has such a prepubescent voice.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when the pants get a little too tight. I don't know, but
no. Okay,
I'm done.
Okay. Enough about Tebow's pants.
I'm talking about my pants.
Your pants. Oh.
Well, at least I'm wearing them today.
Yeah, at least you're wearing pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Take what you can get. And I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic in New York, as if they needed more attention on them. But no, part of me wonders if them signing Tebow is just Rex Ryan trying to buy his way into heaven. He needs all the help he can get.
Here, Rex. Here's a get home free card.
He's like, Lord, can you forgive me for sucking on all these toes? If I signed Tim Tebow,
I will kiss your feet.
Sure he would. I will lick them clean.
Oh,
yeah.
So what happens to all the shoes that go into the Jets locker room? They have to go by Rex Ryan's office first. Sorry.
I think that's where we need to take a break.
Yeah, I think so.
But we'll be right back. You're listening to the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. Be sure to come back here in a few minutes. Welcome back into the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. I'm Travis Sturkey, sitting alongside my co-host Ed Nizer. Got plenty to talk about today. We're going to get into some NCAA Final Four talk. Oh, it's a good few days for basketball.
Yes, sir, it is. And you know what? I always like those first few days of the tournament more than the Final Four. I know that sounds weird, but I like seeing some of these teams.
A lot of people like that.
Well, because I like seeing these teams that you don't really hear much about during the year, and they just end up. I don't know. I'm a fan of Cinderella, man.
I mean, of everybody, I think it is.
Yeah.
But you get what you get.
You get what you get.
We don't have any.
Great too.
Yeah, we don't have any Cinderellas this year. But
no.
I think they're definitely going to be good games. I'm very intrigued with Kentucky Louisville.
Oh, that's gonna be a heck of a game. And can you imagine what the crowd's gonna look like too?
It's gonna be outrageous,
intense, man.
I'm really excited about that one. I still think it's Calipari's year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had very incredibly talented teams before that just have kind of found a way to lose. But
or he gets stripped of a title at Memphis.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Did they win one at Memphis?
I thought it was the one. I thought he won one at Memphis. That
it was stripped.
It was a Final Four.
It was the Final Year they lost.
It was at UMass that got stripped because of Camby.
Yeah, who did they lose to in Memphis that one year? They lost to Kansas that one year.
Yeah.
That year they had Derrick Rose and Dorsey, and that was an incredible team. I thought that was a team that I think only lost or either went undefeated or only lost one game. You remember that a couple years ago?
I do. Yeah,
that was incredible. That was a wicked team.
I had a Freudian slip. Yeah, it was UMass. The Marcus Camby is the one that he got stripped of.
They won the title that year?
They did, yeah. I believe they won the title that year, if I remember right from my friends over at UMass. But because they always talk about, they still support Calipari over there. I mean,
God, how can you not like Calipari? He could sell me a used car that didn't have a motor.
Me too, man. Well, the motor's in the back seat. You can put it in yourself later. Hey, all right. Sounds good, John. Thank you, sir.
Just imagine how good you'll look in it. Even if it's not going down the road, just sit in it. Just sit in it. Tell me how it feels. Feels good, don't it?
We'll get you a green screen so it makes it look like you're driving down the road.
Feels
just like they do in Hollywood.
But I still think it's their year. But I think if the only team left that could beat them, I think is Louisville, because Rick Pitino is...
He's a
maestro.
streak.
He's a maestro.
Yeah.
He's a coach. His team is nowhere near the talent level of Kentucky, but I think he's a much better coach.
He coaches teams, not players. That's what it seems
Yes.
like. He has a lot of role players, and they get the job done.
And I think he's going to be. I think Calipari's, if he's got to be scared of anyone, it's them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm looking at some of these, just kind of like bullet points that this Boston.com article put out, just talking about how this Final Four has all the makings of pretty much. It's going to be funny of me the way to say it, but it's probably the sexiest Final Four we've seen in a while at some of these teams involved, like all these big name programs. And here's something, a stat line I want to put out. This year's Final Four coaches are making between $2.5 million and $3.8 million this season.
Whew.
And they'll get a six-figure bonus if they win the national title. So, I mean, yeah. Mama get a new Cadillac.
Big name teams, no kidding.
Yeah, man, that's something, dude.
Did you know, like the past 8 years, that the championship team has had a shade of blue in their colors? So it's not looking good for Ohio State and Louisville.
Yeah, blue and red are complete opposites.
I think it says that, like, online somewhere.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
The opposite of blue is red.
I think I learned that in kindergarten art class.
But
I failed that class, man. That sucked at art. Anyways,
you would. But I mean, it's going to be really entertaining. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about Ohio State other than Jared Sullinger, who's supposed to be incredible.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's probably all. You're probably right.
That's all you need to know.
But Kansas took down both our North Carolina teams this past weekend. So they got a squad. They got that really big white guy, Withy. That dude has like 8-foot arms.
Yeah, he could stop an intersection. He'd be like He-Man, Superman.
He looks like a giant frat boy. He's got nice feathered hair.
He's just pretty.
He's handsome.
He's a pretty fella.
He's a lot prettier than Anthony Davis. I know that.
Yeah.
He is not attractive. He was actually on that list you were going through earlier today. What number was he? Ed was going through a list on Bleacher Report. It was the 100 ugliest athletes.
Yeah, it was.
I think he was like number 8.
Yeah, he was way up on that. It was on Bleacher Report, I think, if I remember. So if you guys want to check that out at home, it's pretty entertaining.
He was not cute.
They should have revamped the list a little bit because they had who was it? Oh, God.
They had a lot of soccer players on there.
Yes, a lot of soccer players. Chris Bosh was number 4. He should have been number 1. That dude was ugly.
Yeah, he's kind of alien. I think Sam Cassell should have been higher.
Sam Cassell should have been at least top 10.
Was he not? I thought he was.
No, he was. He was like 17th, man. He was like 17th, and I thought that was pretty funny.
No, he is not a handsome fella. He's quite alien looking. But, God, where was I going to go with this? Who you got in these games?
Well, I think Louisville has what it takes to win that first semifinal. I think they're going to go to the championship game. I really do.
You?
I must be. You know how I'm always bold on my predictions. I'm very bold. That's just me as nature. But I think, like you just said, I always did like Rick Pitino. Maybe that's because he coached the Celtics for a while. I just like his style of coaching. He doesn't care what you think about him. He's got that kind of attitude when you interview him after a game. Like he's like, I knew my team would do it. Why did you guys doubt me? Keep on doubting me. I think he's got what it takes to bring him to the Final Four. I really do.
Oh, I mean, he's got him in the Final Four.
Well,
right.
Past that first
I know
round.
what you mean. I know what you mean.
Bring them to the championship game now. Do I think they're going to win? No, because Kentucky's shown times this year where they have been tested. Like you look at those the Vanderbilt and the SEC championship. People will say that game really didn't matter, but in my books, it's still a loss for Kentucky. It does matter.
I don't know. I think it's the year. I hope it's the year. I think Kentucky takes down Louisville.
Yeah,
I think when it gets to this point, I think talent means a lot.
Talent does mean a lot, but I think also coaching plays a huge factor. And Calipari, don't get me wrong, we have just said that he's a good coach. He could sell us a car that doesn't have an engine, and it's been, he'll tell you just sit in it, get a green screen, and you imagine driving it. But anyways, no, I think Louisville is a team that's well coached, and they have a lot of role players, and they might be able to get the job done. I'm not saying it's guaranteed.
I mean they're plenty capable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After watching Kentucky dismantle Baylor.
Oh yeah, Baylor has been hit or miss all year. You know that, right? They hit hot streaks and cold streaks.
I thought that was going to be a much better game than it was.
Oh, I think a lot of people did.
They just made them look stupid.
I'm really wondering what the odds are on some of these Final Four games in Vegas.
I mean, that'd be pretty easy to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious, but because sometimes, I think it was a 15, or it was some. It's probably pretty close, I would assume, what the over under is and all that good stuff. It can't be more than 5 points.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, we're going on that, checking that right now. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I just like Louisville. I think they have the pieces of the puzzle that can get the job done. I mean, I don't know. Kentucky is a tough team to pick against, and a lot of people pretty much had 3 out of 4 in the Final Four, and that one that they didn't have is Louisville. And Travis, I always side with the underdog. That's just my nature. I've always been that way, and I know I'm never usually right, but when I am, I feel good. I feel good and get that warm and cuddly feeling on the inside. But, I don't know. I really think Louisville has what it takes.
Well, the line in Vegas is given is Wildcats -8.5.
-8.5.
So they're saying it's going to be a pretty solid victory.
And what did I say? 5, 7?
Yeah. So I guess that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a really good game.
I think so.
But I don't know. I thought the Baylor game was going to be a really good game. It's just.
Well, I guess that's the whole point of the Final Four, man. You got to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Wait and see.
The Kansas-Ohio State game. I'm going to go Kansas.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's what I was going to say it too, because that kid Robinson's been lining up.
Yeah, seeing the way they took care of NC State and North Carolina, pretty much both handily.
Yeah, it's a good thing for them.
Yeah. Speaking of Carolina, it's a bad news for Tar Heels fans yesterday. 4 of the 5 starters from this year are hasta luego.
Yeah, well, that's the nature of having a hotbed for talent. I mean, the NBA, they say they see millions of dollars flash in front of their face. They're gonna snatch it up and run. Woo, take the money and run. I mean, seriously, why wouldn't you? I would. I would take the money.
I mean, understandably so. I expected them to either all stay or all go. I knew if one was going to say they were going to go, the other was going to be like, all right, I'm coming too.
Yeah, it's definitely a chain effect. I mean, just like, well, if he's not staying, then I'm not going to stay either. I'm old enough, I can go. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Harrison Barnes needed to go just because his stock was plummeting. If he would have went out last year, he probably would have been number 1, number 2 pick.
Yeah, high lottery pick, yeah.
No, this year he might still be a top 5, but I don't think he's going to be much in the NBA. I hate it for him because it's just – I don't know what happened. I don't know why he went from being such a clutch performer his freshman year to just kind of being, he just kind of sat back.
Yeah, he kind of pulled back this year a lot. He definitely took a few steps back this season compared to last.
Right.
I remember hearing about him all year when I covered that NCAA opening rounds up here in Charlotte. Everybody that's a guy that everybody wanted to talk to on that Carolina roster coming in the locker room, and it was everybody around his locker. This year, I don't think you would see that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think almost what it was is he came out of high school, number 1 recruit, big deal.
Right.
Was going to be, he thought this was going to be his team. It's just going to be the Harrison Barnes show.
Yeah.
But he comes in and you have Henson and you have Zeller and you have Kendall Marshall that are just, he doesn't need to be that guy. And I think he just kind of took it as, well, I guess if I don't have to be great, I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into being great. He just wasn't any good.
He almost looked like he was just going through the motions this year because he had the feeling that he was going to declare for the draft, and it didn't seem like he really cared where he went as long as he got taken.
Yeah, it's just he's just going to be a journeyman in the NBA.
Yeah,
he's got a sweet jump shot, but he doesn't have this fire. He doesn't have this fire to drive to the basket.
There's no emotion. I didn't see little or none, no emotion this year from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's not. First off, I don't think he's really that type of dude.
Yeah, he's kind of.
At the same time, he's one of those guys that could take the ball to the basket, get fouled. He could take 15 free throws a game if he, played like he's capable of playing. He just settles for these spot up jump shots, and that's not the type of player he should have been.
That pains me, Travis, when you see a player that has so much upside and they kind of just, they're just don't play up to their potential.
Right.
I mean, he's got that body, he's got the skill set where he could drive to the cup, get the harm, and go to the line, make some free throws. I mean, it's not that hard of a concept to grasp. But I think an NBA coach will take him in and see him as kind of a little bit of a project, and maybe try to work him into that kind of player.
Yeah,
but
that's what's going to happen. Sadly, I feel like if you're a top 2 pick in the NBA, though, you shouldn't be a project.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Top 2 are pretty much top. I'd even go say top 3, top 4 are guys that you should be able to just throw into the fire and say, here you go, have fun. But anything lower than that, you kind of just have to. They're a piece of clay. You kind of have to just mold them and mold them into what you want to do.
It's just so he's gone. I don't think he's going to be a whole lot. No. John Henson needs to get a lot stronger. He's so baby face and wiry and just lanky. It's just I feel like he's going to get beat around.
Right.
Zeller, I think Zeller's just going to be a decent bench player.
Yeah, he'll come in and get you some.
I think he'll be all right.
Grungy minutes every now and then.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to be a solid starter. I don't think. I'm surprised that Tyler Hansbrough is doing as well as he is.
I like what I've seen from Hansbrough. I really do. With the Pacers, it's been good for him. But
he's got enough fire and passion to make up for his lack of skill, I believe.
Yeah, he's definitely a motivated player. He plays with a lot of heart. Wears it on his sleeve. He's a good player.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that Kendall Marshall will probably be the best pro out of all of them.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that come through, but I don't know. Well, I guess it's a wait and see game. It's all speculation right now. And I put a lot of emphasis on the summer league games as well too, and see how they adapt there, playing against some other talent. The other young talent,
Yeah, it's just the NBA game is so much different from the college game now, to where it's just your games really don't translate at all. And it's one of those things that's really, really strange because it didn't used to be that way.
No, it used to be like, oh, well, he was good in college. He should be good in the NBA too.
Yeah,
but now it's just like the NBA is so, I don't know. It's all focused on the individual rather than the team.
It's a potential based draft, and that's what bothers me. It's never based around what you did in college. It's just, well, I think he could be this.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons where they're thinking Carolina's thinking that they might lose James Michael McAdoo as well.
Yeah.
Who was a huge recruit that came in. He really didn't play a whole lot this year just because he didn't need to.
Right.
With the stars that they already had, and he's projected as like a top 7 pick.
Yeah, it's because
he has that potential.
Yeah, these NBA scouts look at 3 things. This is my guess. I'm guessing. I'm not an NBA scout. Probably their vertical. I guess the assist to turnover ratio is probably a big thing as well. And there's it's just that's a couple things that I would think they'd be looking at.
Yeah, I mean it's just
shot percentage and that kind of thing. Like he could be this. Looking at his body and his vitals. Looking at how his stature and all that good stuff. What could he become in an NBA system?
Right. When you look
that's all it is.
When you look at based on drafting players based on what they did in college and what they could be, I think a perfect example of this is what the Charlotte Bobcats did last year. They drafted somebody that was incredible in college in Kemba Walker,
who
proved that he was a player, and then they just took a shot on Bismack Biyombo.
And look what he's done. I mean,
he's playing really well.
Bismack Biyombo, we've said it before, knees and elbows on that character. I mean, he's a good player. He's got a good personality. He embraces the fan. Because a lot of Bobcats fans, he's been pretty much, him and Kemba have been their saving grace this year.
Yeah, it's been the only thing to cheer about.
When Corey Maggette has a breakout game every now and then.
But with Maggette.
Yeah,
Maggette's washed up.
He is, but I do like Bismack Biyombo and Kemba Walker are the future of this Bobcats team.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that. I'm just going to throw that point blank and be blunt about it. They're the future of this team. And, yeah, Biyombo is one of those guys who are like, well, he's got exactly what I said, the stature, the physical attributes. He has what it takes to be a good NBA inside player, and he's proven it.
Yeah, I hope he does too. He is fun to watch.
I watched him take it to Dwight Howard on the Orlando Magic, and that just kind of that was the moment. I sitting down about a few rows back from the court. My friend had got me tickets. Our buddy Josh Carpenter got me tickets from his father, and we were all sitting there. I mean, he says, "Watch this. Let's see what Biyombo does against Dwight Howard," and he shut him down, man. He shut Dwight down.
Yeah, and what about that dunk that he blocked from Trevor Ariza when they were playing the Suns, when Ariza was going to come in and send it overtime, and Bismack just went straight up with both of his big old paws. It was like, not today.
No.
However he talks.
I'm going to call him, I'm going to be hard-pressed to say he's our day and age in the 2000s. He's a new Dikembe Mutombo in the paint.
Oh,
I mean,
that might be a stretch. I think he's a lot more of a Marcus Camby.
Okay, yeah, I can go with Marcus.
Or a lot of Ben Wallace in him as well.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of fans like about him. But he's a lot more. Well, Ben was kind of quiet. Or no, Gerald. I'm thinking Gerald. I'm sorry, Ben Wallace. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking Gerald Wallace. I always get those two confused.
Completely different dudes.
I know. All right. Yeah, I just had a moment again.
But yeah,
This coffee's not gone
how
yet.
do we get to this?
How
Oh,
we
we're
get-
talking about the Carolina players going.
We just started rambling, fellas.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
kidding.
I'm sorry about that, but
We'll move on.
we'll move.
It's just
Yeah.
going to be a very interesting year in
Yeah,
the
it
ACC
is.
next year, especially since Austin Rivers is declared.
Yeah, and then I saw something, Travis. I was telling you before we got on here that his father said he's not going to pressure Danny Ainge, the head of the Celtics, to draft Austin. That made me laugh a little bit. I'm like, why wouldn't you want your son on your team?
Yeah, I mean, if they're at a reasonable spot to take Austin
sure,
Rivers,
yeah, why not? They will.
yeah, I think they would.
I mean, that would just be. You imagine the conversation that goes on at the dinner table.
Because, I mean, he is a two guard, and Ray Allen, they keep talking about getting rid of Ray Allen, and it's just, maybe
Ray just keeps performing though. That's the thing. You can't really.
or make some room, Ray.
Yeah, Ray's like, I'm not ready to go yet, man. And my mom's the one that's come to all the games.
My mom saw
She does come to every game, man. Even
That's
on the road.
cute.
It is,
That
man.
is cute.
But I'm saying, like, if Austin Rivers does, that'd be funny if he went to the Celtics. But if he doesn't, I think the conversations, and the Celtics had a chance to take him, the conversations at that Rivers dinner table would probably be the funniest thing. Dad, why don't you take me on your team?
Yeah, that'd be something.
Dad, why don't you take me?
Like, well, son, you need some work. Let's be honest.
I just want to see that. It'd be
So
funny.
next year is going to be really interesting because I
Yeah.
think Duke's going to take a real nosedive.
I say 3.
Third in the ACC.
Yeah. Behind Florida State, and
I don't know much about Florida State's team. I know NC State's still going to be really good. If CJ Leslie comes back, NC State is going to be really hard to beat, especially with the recruiting class that they're bringing in,
Right.
which is unreal.
What is your thought? What are your thoughts on, let's say, top 3 of the ACC next year?
Oh wow. Judging it all depended on these dudes leaving.
Yeah.
Now, once I hear about CJ Leslie, I'd feel a lot more confident in this.
Right.
But I think it's gonna if CJ Leslie leaves.
State probably slips to the middle of the pack.
No. I don't think they'll slip to the middle pack because, like I said, they have
The
a
young
ridiculous
recruits,
recruiting
yeah.
class. I think Duke will finish third.
Okay.
And depending on CJ Leslie, if CJ Leslie comes back, I think they win the ACC.
That's a
Carolina
fair
finishes
point. That's a fair point. I think here's my top 3. It'd probably be, even with Carolina. Carolina's probably going to be your 2 in a 2 spot. I think when losing those guys, I really do. And then to be Carolina 2 and 3, Carolina, Duke, and then number 1. I'm at a toss up between State and Florida State because
I don't know enough about Florida State to know if they're going to be anything like they were this year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess we have to look at the number of veteran players.
That's an assessment I can't make on that.
Exactly. I think that's a fair point. I'm just going to put. I think NC State, like you said, right now have the tangibles to. I don't know who's vibrating in here. I know it's me. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
But
So it must be really important.
it's probably not.
That's probably Ray Allen's mom calling you. Why are you making fun of me?
Actually, it's my co-host on the Niner TV show I do, Andrew Baker, calling me, and I don't know what he needs.
It's not more important than this.
No, it's not more important than this.
But that's a good segue into our next topic. I want to talk a little bit about declaring earlier for the draft in the NBA, and if it's good for the NBA or bad for the NBA, or if I think it's terrible for NCAA basketball. We'll get into that after the break. So stay tuned to hear that conversation. You're listening to the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. Stay tuned in. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Radio Free Charlotte. I'm Travis Ferguson alongside Ed Nizer. We're going into our last about 30-minute segment of the show.
A little football, more notes from the NFL.
More football notes. We're going to go into this right here. I read on USA Today actually, talking about thinking that the quarterbacks could go with all first 3 picks in the draft, which I think is pretty outrageous now. It's pretty well understood that it's going to be Andrew Luck 1, RG3 2.
Number 3.
They're looking at Ryan Tannehill. Apparently, he's getting a lot of hype lately.
Yeah.
And I did not see this coming. Right after the season, he was considered probably the 3rd best quarterback, but not really worth taking to a late first, early second round job. And now all of a sudden he's a number 3 pick.
Yeah, it's like, where did this come from? And that's what the NFL draft does to you sometimes, man. You see these guys come out of the fog, and you're saying, wait. Really?
I mean, he had a wicked pro day. He completed 65 of his 68 passes. And he ran the 40 in 4.62 seconds, which is slightly faster than Andrew Luck.
And slightly faster than Travis Turkey.
But it was slower than Robert Griffin III and Ed Nizer.
Well, right, yeah, exactly. But I can down some down some food pretty quick, though.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things where I don't know where he came from.
Well,
You know, he's been doing really well. He's been playing great, but it's just
I've got his stats on him from this season. If you want to go through them, we can.
do share.
He had over 3,000 yards passing. It was 3,744 to be exact. That guy, he actually can light it up. I mean, his completion attempts ratio is not too bad. 327. He's completed out of 500 passes. That's not bad.
I think this is one of these guys that's going to go on potential because, I mean, he's got the size, 6'4", 222.
Yeah, he's definitely pro style at quarterback.
So, I mean, I can see it, but, man, just the number 3 pick in the draft is the Vikings. And the Vikings, they just spent last year on Christian Ponder.
Right.
I don't think they're ready to give up on him quite yet.
No, it's almost,
I mean, it's
it almost goes to the thing like when you draft quarterbacks back-to-back years, and talking to Jacksonville, they might want to try to grab a quarterback too with just Blaine Gabbert kind of
wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt, no.
And you got the Browns, who I think are pretty much about to give up on Colt McCoy.
Are they really? Because I thought they said Colt McCoy was their boy.
Yeah, and the Jets said Mark Sanchez was their boy, and we saw what they did.
That's very true.
It's just
We saw that when we saw the 49ers thought Alex Smith was their boy, and now they're gonna patch things up with him.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you can never take that stuff for truth anymore.
No, but this Tannehill kid, I mean, yeah, he's got the vitals. I mean, he's got the size, and like you said, he had a wicked good pro day. But
yeah.
It's Texas A&M's a program that a lot of emphasis put on the quarterback. They are a passing program, and as a lot of those Big 12 schools are. And he might fit in the NFL very well.
Yeah, I mean, I good for him. I just don't know where the hell he came from. I mean, I know he was from Texas A&M, but I didn't think he was going to get so. A couple days ago, I saw a mock draft where he was going like number 8, and I was like, wow, like
it's so high,
man. He's really jumped up there.
He's improved his stock with his pro day, and that's what.
And now they're saying he's going to go number 3. It's just blowing my mind how stuff like this is.
And the draft's coming up soon, man. It's like it feels like the NFL season just ended.
Yeah, it feels like this entire semester's going by. Us graduating, man.
It's being
taking
everything
its toll.
And
we're old, bro.
It's all right. See all these young kids, still having fun playing the high school sports.
These whippersnappers.
It makes me cry a little bit on the inside. But I remember that was my glory days, man.
Yeah,
that song in my head right now. I'm playing that glory days song in my head right now.
There's another cool little story.
Yeah, what do you got, man?
It's about Torrey Holt, who is going to sign a one-day contract with the Rams so he can retire as a Ram.
I think that.
I think that's incredible.
I like when I love when players do that kind of stuff. It just speaks, it screams class. It really does.
It screams class for the organization too. It's just, what do you have to lose, man? Just give him the one-day contract and let him retire. It's just. The years he had were incredible.
Yeah, that's another thing that makes me and you feel old. You remember when Torrey Holt?
I remember those days.
Yeah, man, the greatest show on turf. Yeah, man, and it's a good thing, man. The NFL in the '90s, I think, was one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL when you're a kid is always
that much.
It's always going to be that much better. Pro sports in general, I mean, granted, I love watching baseball now, but when I was a kid, man, I was glued.
Yeah,
I was glued to the TV.
Me too. My mom had to push me back. We had one of those old TV, those old console kind of TVs that you could put stuff on top of and you could rotate it.
Yeah.
The old wooden ones.
Right.
And I'd just be sitting there maybe about 3 or 4 steps back from it, cross-legged, just watching baseball, like watching the Red Sox. Like I remember who was it? Bryce Flory. You remember that guy? Bryce Flory, the kid who got hit in the eye with that line drive right back at the mound. I remember when that happened. That was just woo. And then I had to go out and play a Little League game right after that. And I kind of just I was kind of scared of the ball from that during that game because he got really messed up. If you remember that.
Yeah, I remember one of my
plays back in my head.
A big memory of me when as a kid with baseball is when I started really liking Derek Jeter.
Yeah,
I was it was his rookie year, and before Derek Jeter came along, I was a huge Tino Martinez fan. I love Tino Martinez, and when it came for my first year of baseball, or it was my second year, and I got to pick my just rec league baseball, just machine pitch. I go out there and I pick number 2 because I kind of had a brain fart as a kid. I thought, it's Tino Martinez's number, and I come home and I'm watching the Yankees game. I'm like, what in the hell?
Who's Derek Jeter?
I'm like, oh God, I already have this jersey. I'm already wearing it, and I'm like, oh man, I guess I'll cheer for this Derek Jeter guy.
And look how he's become.
And now all of a sudden, man, He's my hero.
Yeah, my number really had no.
And it stuck, man. I do that. I wear number 2 whenever I get a chance.
You know, my number really didn't have no meaning to it that I wore when I played baseball through Babe Ruth and all that stuff. I always wore something with 14 or 41. That was always my number, and I don't know why.
That's because the big kids get the double digits.
That's pretty much it. But I had I got 14 for one reason, and I was like, you know, I've always been a big kind of like Red Sox historian. I always like reading those old books. Jim Rice, wore number 14,
Jim
big
Rice.
power hitter. You know, and yeah, no, I used to people. Why'd you pick 14? When I got older, I was like, it's because of Jim Rice, man. I watched the ESPN Classic. What are you talking about?
I like it.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah, man. Kids, when you're a kid, man, sports have so much.
Yeah.
They're so much more magical when you're a child.
Because you don't understand how these guys are going out. You know, they're on TV. They're having fun. They're doing what I do.
Yeah, and
you
now-
can make association with it. Now, when you get older, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's almost kind of sad because now you look at it as it's so much more of a business than you knew.
yeah.
And it's just players get cut because they can't afford them and stuff like that. It's just
As a kid, you don't really realize the trade and stuff that goes on. But once you get older and you get towards like high school, college, you're starting to sit there watching the game from a whole different lens.
I think now that me and you are pretty much members of the media
Yeah.
and journalists, that's just
It's tough, man.
And you're almost kind of jaded at a point, you know.
Yeah.
It's just I still watch. I feel like at a point where I asked Marcus Danilo this question when he came and spoke to
Yeah.
our class.
What'd you say?
I'm like, I know you work in sports. I'm like, do you wake up? I'm like, are you still a sports fan? Do you wake up in the morning and turn on Sports Center because you want to or because you have to?
That's a great question. I wish I would have asked him that myself when I went meeting with Marcus last week. Yeah, it's something. That's a great question because when I sit down, okay, I can't even go to a baseball game without commenting because I've done broadcasts for baseball and
Right.
stuff. And now that when the bigger boys are in the booth calling the games and I have to, I get to sit down in the stands. My friends always tell me, turn off the radio voice, Ed, and you stop analyzing the game, have fun. It's tough, man. It really is tough
You
to
just gotta
transition.
get out of that mode. Yeah,
It's
this microphone. I swear, this microphone has punched me in the ear 12 times today.
well, you getting punched
in the hell?
You're getting punched in the microphone is something we're going to talk about in the end of the show. But something happened down in South Carolina girls soccer.
Man, yeah, this microphone is taking its toll on me. But man, yeah, I could reminisce about my childhood
Me
sports
too,
for
man.
days.
Me too, man. I was always too big to play football.
You're always too big to play football.
Pop Warner football and the American Youth football, you couldn't be over 145 pounds, whatever the weight limit was. I was a big old boy.
Must have been, man. If they say you're
shit, yeah.
too big to play football, that's
Yeah, man,
something you never hear
I
now.
remember when I was 12 years old, dude.
Were scouts looking to draft you at that age?
They were, man. They were. It's really tough. I couldn't even go down to the lunch hall at school, man. They'd be, hounding me. Hey, can I get your autograph?
Ed, let me buy your lunch for you.
I'd be like, all right, can I have a third one? No, but I remember I was 12 and went to the tryouts for midget football. I was like, midget football, usually those kids are like 14 or 15. I was bigger than some of them kids, I tried that summer. That's when I started, deciding, you know what, I'm going to work out. And when I get to be 14, 15 years old, I'm going to be a beast when I get into school, It's junior high football.
Right.
And that's what happened. I
And
played
look at
junior
you
high.
now,
Yeah.
in the flesh,
And
just a beef castle of man.
did you say Beef Castle? Let's move on from our childhoods, shall we?
Yeah, man. This is another
Talk
little,
about Beef Castles. That's getting a little
yeah,
weird.
man. You liked it.
I
another
loved it.
another little
Loved it,
NFL
man.
note. As we all know, the old Bounty Gate stuff. You're gonna spit coffee everywhere, but Ron Rivera came out. As we all know, Cam Newton was one of the targets of the bounty program.
Right.
And one of the big questions would be, well, when these teams get back on the field, are people going to be headhunting the Saints? And Ron Rivera came out and he made it clear that there's going to be no sort of retribution from the Panthers, which I'm not surprised by that. Rivera is
classy guy.
very classy.
Yeah.
And
I don't see that.
he says there's not going to be any kind of retribution coming from the Panthers. He said he'd be really surprised if there's any kind from the entire league. So, classy move by Rivera to come out and say that and make that known.
Now, do you think anybody's going to come out? There's probably going to be some John at the line stuff. Like, who said you're going to get this time? Some lineman might come out and try to get in the heads of the players.
Yeah,
get them
maybe.
Get them a little frustrated and PO'd, but
Right, but that's football.
That's football.
Yeah, that's competition. That's grown men being grown men. I would hate to know what it's like to be in a pile in the NFL.
oh, dude.
I don't even want to think about it.
I've been in piles in high school, and it's nasty. I mean, I've kicked a kid in the gut before because he put his hand under my leg to try to steal the football off from under the pile. He didn't like that one bit.
No, man, I just hear stories of people getting poked in the eye or
It's like that, man.
just
it doesn't matter what
just
level of
really
football.
dirty stuff. Yeah, I never want to be in one of those, especially under
Did you ever
dudes
play
like
football?
you. I never played football.
Oh, wow. I didn't believe that. I would
could
have said you were a quarterback or something.
No, I look that shifty. No, I was. My mom never let me play football.
My mom didn't want me to play football when I was younger, and due to my weight issue too. I always wanted to play football. I always wanted to play hockey too. I always wanted to be a hockey player, but I can't skate.
Yeah, hockey was never an option down this way.
Yeah,
but
everybody knows I grew up in the Northeast, so I mean, that's, but
I would have loved to play football. I always wanted to. I was never very big. My mom didn't want me to get hurt, so I just stuck to baseball.
I mean, I wasn't very big either. Like once I got to high school, everybody was bigger than me. I was 5'9", 195, 200 pounds playing D-line in high school. Some guys are bigger than me. Some guys are about my size, but New England, there's not really many big dudes playing high school football.
No.
The average lineman's probably about 230, 235.
Okay.
But
yeah, no, never played football, and I'll play the hell out of flag football.
yeah, it's fun, man.
Flag football, I was good at flag football.
I was a center.
I have really good hands.
I was a center.
I bet you were a center.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, I can't get.
That was that low center of gravity.
Yeah, that's right. It's called center.
Did you get real serious about it and just hike the ball between your legs?
Yep,
and stuff?
I did. I absolutely did.
You were that guy.
Well, because in high school, man, I used to do like long snapping and for punts and kicks and whatnot. As Travis hits the microphone once again. Your new nickname is now Thumper.
Golly.
your new nickname's Thumper. Anyways, but I mean, yeah, I was always the serious kid. I mean, I've always been competitive. That's just my nature.
Doubt.
This is my nature. But what do we get? So what were we talking? We were talking about bounties.
I don't know, man. We were talking about your weight issues as a child. I'm pretty sure that was the topic of the day.
This is the Ed Nizer Psychological Hour.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a quick moment to say I appreciate everybody out there listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're getting a chance to. That's Steven and Tammy. I appreciate you guys listening in today. This last shout out. Today's broadcast is sponsored by the Voices of Eden Gospel Choir of UNC Charlotte, who present the 3rd annual One Accord Gospel Explosion, Sunday, April 1st at 5 p.m. in the 3rd floor of the Student Union. Admission is free. For more information, email voicesofeden@hotmail.com or check out facebook.com/voicesofeden. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. And we'll close out the show here in a few minutes. You're listening to the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. Welcome back into the Friday Sports Fix here on Radio Free Charlotte. I'm Travis Durkee, sitting alongside my co-host, Ed Nizer. What's going on, Ed? You ready to talk a little bit of baseball? I know you've been itching for the start of the year.
Baseball, hey, it's already started, man. They're playing out in Japan right now. I don't know how you feel about that, but
the whole Japan thing I'm not too keen on. I mean, I understand that's big over there.
Yeah.
But this is America's pastime. This is America's pastime where we like guns and
hot dogs
and baseball
and sometimes beer
and beer all the time. I like some beer.
Anyways, no, I mean, what I was going to talk about, the big story that I saw come across today was Magic Johnson, good old Irving Johnson. He's saved the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, pretty much, for lack of a better term. I mean, his team bought it for $2 billion.
Yeah.
Which is an outrageous amount of money for a baseball team.
Especially the Dodgers.
Especially the Dodgers has been really reeling in the past couple of years.
That sucks what the previous owner did to them, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, can you go over that a little bit for us?
I can't remember the exact details or the guy's name for that, but I think there was something had to do with financial. He was taking laundering money from them or something. I don't remember exactly the story, man, but I'm gonna look it up right now. My mind, I know the owner did something to him that I can't. You put me on the spot. I can't remember. I can't remember, brother. I can't remember. But
I'll never do it again.
But no, you know how Dodgers fans are very like the ones that actually care about their team. They're very passionate.
Yeah.
You remember the incident between Dodgers and the Giants last year where a guy pretty much almost lost his life?
Oh, yeah.
That was sick. That was sick, man.
That happened about a year ago today, actually. Like I saw a small story on USA Today about it. And that was brutal. That poor bastard.
Yeah, that sucks, man. You shouldn't go into a football. I just typed in Los Angeles Dangers.
That would be a cooler name.
That'd be a sweet
Magic
name.
Johnson should change their name to the Los Angeles Dangers.
Well, you guys know I'm going crazy today.
But no, it is going to be great for the city because he's such an icon there, and he's done a lot for that entire city. He's a real face of hope, almost, I guess, in a very cheesy way to say it, but it is what it is, and I think it'll be really good for the state and really good for the baseball team and the city as a whole just to have that kind of face on there.
I've got the pinwheel of death. If you want to look up the story on the Dodgers, and you can go for it.
Nah, we know enough about it.
All I gotta say is L.A. Yeah, they did the right thing by allowing Magic to purchase the team. Magic, yeah, he's an icon in the city. Everybody knows Magic. Everybody respects Magic for what he's done with the Lakers and what he just the kind of man he carries himself as. He's a good guy.
Yeah, man, just that smile. He's got that magnetic smile.
Yeah, that's why they call him Magic, man. He's always been that way. You know, he's just a good person.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good for them, especially starting into the season. You know, opening day is already sold out for them.
Maybe they'll fix that ballpark. That place is depressing to me, man. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
It screams 1970s.
But just speaking of baseball on opening day,
Yeah.
opening day usually means the start of fantasy baseball. Drafts are underway.
I need Teeper for my pool hole, man. That's my team. Albert Pujols.
I know you've already done a couple of drafts.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
yet to do any of mine. So I don't know if you have any advice to give me on players to look for you. I know yours were just on auto draft.
Yeah,
so you
because
probably
I totally forgot about my draft times, guys. But hey, I kind of lucked out a little bit.
yeah, and then one of your drafts, I guess you're picking number one.
Yeah, I got Miguel Cabrera in one of my drafts, and he's number one overall.
He's the top player this year, which understandably so. He does score a lot of runs, knock a lot of runs in.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I'm sitting here and looking at this, at the top players here on ESPN,
What's the top five right now?
top five is Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, Matt Kemp of the Dodgers, Ryan Braun of the Brewers, and Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays.
Okay, yeah. Bautista he's a stat machine, dude.
Bautista, though, I don't think I would.
He's a stat. That guy can stroke, man.
He has. I think he's a due for a mediocre year.
Yeah, he's been stroking in the past few years. Though he's been offensive production machine. You know, he'll get you those extra base hits all the time. So, hell, he'll even put over the fence.
No, I mean
more times than not.
he led the
power
league in
hitter.
homers. Yeah, I mean they're projecting him to hit 43 home runs, 104 RBIs.
What did he hit last year?
He hit 43 with 103 RBIs. Yeah, it's not really much of a projection.
Way to step out on a limb, boys.
Yeah, really, they really just duplicated it. Which, I mean, 43 homers would be incredible. I just don't see it happening again because you know he's had these two pretty good years. I think it's about time for him to be figured out.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
I agree.
So I would, if I had the number one pick, I don't think I would take Pujols with it. Because of him changing leagues and a new team, it kind of worries me.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it's a different ball game over there.
The first pick is such pressure. That's what I usually don't like having the first
Baseball
pick.
is always tougher to pick than football, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot more unknowns. I would take Matt Kemp if I was in the top 2 or 3.
I want to take that kid Freeze from St. Louis at some
I
point.
would not take him in the top 2 or 3.
Not top 2 or 3, but middle of the pack. Why not?
But my heart always goes out to Robinson Cano. I know a lot of people think
too, man.
A lot of people think that he's not going to put up the type of numbers again this year.
I don't believe it.
But I think he's a machine.
I mean, I don't believe that he's not.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's a machine. He is an incredible player. He is the best player on the Yankees, which is really saying something when you have an infield like Teixeira and Cano, Jeter, and A-Rod.
I got a big text too on my team as well. I like Teixeira, but he always, you know this, he's always good at the start of the season and kind of teeters off a little bit towards the end. But
it's always good for half a season.
Yeah, then you just then you bench him the rest of the season when he starts sucking. But
no, I like Tex.
I'm so bitter about Tex not coming.
He looks like an overgrown 15-year-old, doesn't he?
He is.
He is. Like, that's legit. He is only 15 years old.
Well, yeah. Remember Danny Almonte from Dominican Republic? He was 15 too. Played in the Little League.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, it's as far as sleepers are concerned, you know, I really haven't done enough research on this, which I guess I should have been.
Me too.
But, I mean, there's always, like you said, David Freese is a name that's been coming up a lot.
Yep.
Mainly because he was so big in the World Series last year. And he's been getting a lot of love. Ike Davis a lot. I've seen his name everywhere.
Yeah.
Then you have the people that are probably going to be busts. Like I've fallen in the Chase Utley trap the past couple of years, and he just cannot stay on the field, and it makes me so mad.
I don't blame
makes me
him.
so mad.
You know who's a guy that I picked up that people really, other than Braves fans, don't really believe in? That Craig Kimbrell kid, that pitcher.
Yeah, I mean,
I like Craig.
I don't know much about him. A lot of people think, speaking of the Braves, that Tommy Hanson is not going to live up to hype this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, Jason Hayward, a lot of people think that he's ready to turn into an incredible player.
He's fun to watch, man.
He is fun to watch, and he has all the tools, but he just fails to put them together. So hopefully that's going to change. You know, I'm looking here at a bust list. And
I'm finally got my computer back, folks.
you know,
I like Tulowitzki too. I like that.
Yeah, he's an all-star without a doubt. He's something else. But then you have, you know, on the bus you have Chase Utley, who I'm never touching Chase Utley ever again.
Yeah,
never again.
I don't blame you, man.
And then they got Ricky Weeks on here, which I think is kind of surprising. I think Ricky Weeks. Actually, that's not what I meant to say. Ricky Weeks is going to fall off because the loss of Prince Fielder, I think, is going to affect that entire lineup.
Speaking of Prince Fielder, I like him. I like him in Detroit. I like him a lot in Detroit.
Really? I don't.
The reason being, I'm a baseball purist. His dad played there.
Oh yeah,
Big
Cecil.
Big Cecil, yeah, and I like that he's playing there. He looks good. I mean, he looks good in a Detroit uniform. Like you sometimes get those players that just don't. They just look out of place.
Our fashion expert Ed Nizer.
Yeah, a baseball fashion expert. No, have you noticed that that's what it's becoming to now? Like a lot of people are talking about jerseys and stuff. Whatever. But I'm just saying, he just looks. It fits him. The color, he's a Brewer. Yeah, that works. But if you put Prince in one of those ugly Miami jerseys. I don't know.
I don't think those are going to be too cute.
Let's talk about. Let's go by position, Travis. What do you think about the catchers that looking at this league? I'm going by position. What I'm seeing, Mike Napoli from Texas, number 1. Carlos Santana.
That's where's Mike Napoli coming from? I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, that's fine, man.
But Napoli's one of those players that's always either they always say he's going to do really well, but then he's always just kind of turns into more of a.
Last year he did really, really well. 30 home runs, 75 ribbies. Yeah, he did good, man. But
so hopefully it's just that entire lineup stack. Santana, I think I would go Santana before I would Napoli.
Oh, I would too. I like Brian McCann always. I like him.
Now Matt Wieters, I think that's interesting that they have him so high.
He's very high. Yeah, Matt Wieters. If you guys don't remember, he's only been in the league 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching Matt when I was at a Durham Bulls game. I remember watching Matt when he faced David Price.
How about Joe Mauer only being number 8?
He slipped down a bit.
I mean, his injury problems, but that's something else.
Yeah, man. Joe Mauer and Yadier Molina, I like him too.
Where's Jose Montero on here? They don't.
Jose's probably, I would say, in the bottom.
Not on here.
I'd say at least top 25. Gerald Saltalamacchia is at 16. The Red Sox new everyday catcher.
Show me where Montero is. Montero's going to be a stud eventually.
Yeah, AJ. Let's see. I'm trying to find him myself, guys. Miguel Olivo, he's a good player too.
He's not even on there, is he?
No, he's not top 25 at all. I don't see him yet.
Wow.
They've got the Boston backup catcher, Lavernway, before him. I don't.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to first baseman. Top first baseman, of course, Miguel Cabrera. Then you got Pujols, Joey Votto, which I think is still going to be a breakout player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adrian Gonzalez, Prince Fielder, Sheriff. First basemen are always loaded.
Yeah, Paul Konerko. It feels like he's been around the league.
He has been around forever. And
he's still producing, man. They got him projected. The only drop off they have from this year is he gets 7 less runs batted in. That's it. His home runs stay the same. Batting average pretty much the same. Drops down 0.13 points, but I don't know. And then you guys remember Napoli can play both ways, first base and catcher, as most can do.
Both ways. I don't know where you're going with that for a minute.
They got him at 9.
He's an old switch hitter.
Yeah, buddy. Old switch hitter. Yeah, old slump buster. Freddie Freeman, number 15, on first baseman.
He's a big dude.
He is, yeah.
He's a big dude. Well, that's our fantasy baseball talk. I wish we could have done more, but we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we're going to close up the show. We got a few little news and notes here to get into. I'm going to let Ed start us off with a little bit of girls soccer, which we don't get a whole lot of girls soccer talk in here.
Yes, girls soccer.
Bring it home, Ed.
Well, man, I was on the Twitter, and I saw that somewhere out in South Carolina, it was like a big rivalry soccer game, and this girl, she gets tripped up going down the sidelines, pretty much coming about 30 yards from the goal, and this girl kind of just, incidental contact, tripped her a little bit, and the one girl gets up and just beats the living crap out of her.
Yeah.
And now she's charged with assault.
Yeah, I watched the video, and I was like, are you kidding me? The girl that got tripped just gets up, pulls the other chick down by her hair, and just haymakers.
Yeah, man.
I'm not talking about, like, girls slapping. I'm talking
I think
she's hammer punching this girl in the face.
that girl, the girl that beat up the other girl's parent, if I'm their parents, I'm getting her involved in the MMA.
Yeah, she has what it takes.
She had the ground and pound down to a T.
She was doing all right.
Yeah, buddy.
Another little note I have here that a Bengals cheerleader is accused of having sex with a student back when she was a teacher at why are you gonna take that while I'm reading it?
I want to see what she looked like.
she's good looking. She's a cheerleader.
Well,
but anyways, apparently she's into the younger folk. She was indicted on a charge of unlawful use of electronic devices to solicit illegal activity. So basically, she's texting this kid, and this is, I don't know, this is a while back, but I think that's, you don't see it that often.
No.
You don't see the female teachers.
It's usually the guy teacher it's like the JV girls basketball coach trying, hey, you want to go out and get
which
get
that
some
actually
ice cream?
happened. So yeah,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Apparently Charlotte is looking to be taken into the Sun Belt Conference, which could eventually merge with the WAC. Not a bad
I mean, in a way, people are saying it's bad for basketball, and I agree with them. You look at the conference, you got, I think it was 2 or 3 teams that had 20 wins that season. Also, but you got to look at the process for football. You know how many bowl games the Sun Belt gets?
More than the Atlantic 10.
4. They get 4 bowl games.
Wow.
That's something, man.
Take it. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
And baseball, they had 3 teams in the NCAA tournament last year. One got the automatic bid from winning the conference tournament, and they only had about 18 or 19, 20 wins, I think it was, for the team. But there was 3 teams that made the Sun Belt, made from the Sun Belt, and made the baseball tournament. And just looking at it from a big perspective, the big picture, I think it'd be okay for Charlotte. They've been in the Sun Belt before. They were in the Sun Belt way back. I think it was probably in the early 90s, if I recall, before the CUSA days. They were Sun Belt members, so, I mean, why not? And most of these teams are, they're in the South. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, something needs to get changed. There needs to be a mix-up here at Charlotte. If that means leaving the Atlantic 10 when football season comes around.
Football takes priority, Travis. I don't mean to cut you off, but football takes priority over any sport. And the only thing,
without a doubt, football is king.
Football is king. It's a moneymaker, and if your team wants to move up, you want to get an FBS right away, Sunbelt, they already said, hey, come on down, Charlotte. We want you,
Yeah, definitely. What else we got here? Baseball's at Xavier this weekend. Trying to bounce back. They need to get it together.
Yeah.
They won earlier this week, but they lost their series last week at Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's 2 games to 1. It's tough, man. It's been a tough year for the boys and the boys of summer, but they'll get it back.
Because they just, I don't know, to be the top level team that they're expected to be and that they want to be, that they expect themselves to be,
that they're capable of being. It's one of those. It's why you play the game, man. And I know it's very cliche to say, but that's why you play every game and see how everything pans out. It's up to us analysts to make guesses, and we all thought that they'd be really good this year. They're kind of disappointed for you shut the mic again.
I know, man. I'm ready to get out of here before I break this thing.
They're disappointed so far, but they still have time to pick it up. As we know, the A-10 tournament is where teams make themselves in this conference, and they can still make the NCAA tournament. They'll be okay.
It's got to be done, man.
They'll be okay.
They need to get together like women's tennis. Women's tennis is just they're people.
Yeah,
they're doing work.
Yeah, man, they are.
But next week we'll definitely be back here same time, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock here on Radio Free Charlotte.
And if you're on the Charlotte campus, you'll probably see our flyers and our faces.
Man,
we've been
new posters.
Been promoting it. Yeah, man, absolutely. If you're not a fan of the Facebook page, please do. If you're a friend of ours and a friend of the show, please like the Facebook page. Go on there. Give us your thoughts. Give us your concerns. We'll take cash donations too.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, man. Go on there and just give us your input. We love seeing the feedback from our fans and letting us know that what we're saying really matters to you. And that really, seriously, I say that from Travis and myself, come from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate that.
You're gonna make me cry.
Hey, man, it's all right.
But anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for listening to Friday Sports Mix here on Radio Free Charlotte. I'm gonna get out of here before this microphone beats me up anymore. It's been a rough day with me.
Man, we gotta get him out of this room.
You've been listening to Friday Sports Mix here on Radio Free Charlotte. I'm Travis Turkey.
And I'm Ed Nizer.
Alongside Ed Nizer. We'll see you next week. Welcome back.